I'm Tom Vander Ark, and you're listening to the Getting Smart podcast. I just am back from ISTE, a gigantic gathering of 12,000 tech-savvy teachers. And in a session at ISTE yesterday, I pointed to two of the most important learning platforms in human history, and they're Google Search, which was launched in 1998, and YouTube, which was launched in 2005. I still think they're maybe the two most important learning and development assets on the planet. But add to that list, Grow with Google, a commitment, a multi-million-dollar commitment that Google made to supporting learning, particularly in tech pathways. And today we're joined by the founder of Grow with Google, Lisa Gevelber. Welcome to the Getting Smart podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
But before we talk about with Grow with Google, you have a great background in brand development, marketing. How did you go from developing brands to developing humans? What was the big idea back in 2017 behind Grow with Google?
Yeah. Well, we really set out to solve an important societal problem, and you were just referring to it in terms of pathways, which is that in the US, actually, most Americans don't get a college degree. About 2/3 of Americans don't. But if you look at most of the good paying jobs that pay more than $35,000 a year, more than 80% of those jobs say they require a degree. So if you take a step back and think about it, that means about 80 million Americans are being locked out of some of the best paying jobs in our country, and maybe even some of them have fastest growing career pathways. And we believe there's no question having a college degree is life changing. We just thought it shouldn't be the only way you could change your life. So we set out to help create alternative pathways for people to enter these career fields. And we used a really thoughtful process to choose the fields we chose. We were looking for fields that were really in demand, where there were lots of employers who just couldn't find enough people skilled for the particular jobs. And that was expected to continue to be the case, where these were really good careers and good paying jobs, and where Google had unique expertise to contribute, where we could take Google employees who had been working in these jobs for decades and have them literally be the teachers and help people know what they had learned by really being in the trenches and doing the work. It's not textbook. It's taught by experts. And we picked things that we knew people could, in a relatively short period of time, 3 to 6 months usually, learn how to do these fields. And so we created the program. It's called the Google Career Certificate Program. And it's all online on demand. And we're seeing more and more, not only people who are entering their careers for the first time or people who are reskilling, but more and more it's being used in colleges and universities. And it's also being used in high schools. So it's a great way for people to get exposure, try out and learn everything they need to know to get into a high-paying career. And it's also amazingly great for school systems to think about as they continue to invest in helping make their students career ready and job ready, not only for jobs of the future, but truly also for the jobs that are there today.
Lisa, these are asynchronous learning units, and are they on the Coursera platform? Is that right?
That's right. All of the Google Career Certificates can be found on Coursera. We offer them in 6 fields. So everything from project management and digital marketing, IT support, user experience design, which is like the design for websites and apps, all the way to data analytics and cybersecurity. All of them are on Coursera, and they're all at your own pace, which is really interesting. But school systems are also integrating them right into the classroom. A great example actually is the Anaheim public school system. I think you might be familiar with some of their really groundbreaking programs, but they've decided to integrate the programs right into the classroom offerings. For example, the data analytics course is taught as a part of the statistics and math courses for the upper level students in high school. And so even just within the past year, we had over 500 high school students in Anaheim graduate with a Google Career Certificate. And the amazing thing about it is not only are those students now really ready to enter some of the best paying fields in our country, You can also use it for college credit because the American Council on Education, ACE, recognizes and recommends the Google Career Certificates for credit. Institutions like community colleges and some four-year schools will actually give those high school students credit for having done the Google Career Certificate, credit toward their degree.
What's included in a career certificate? Is that multiple units of study? Is it really a linked modules in a pathway?
It is actually. As I said, it's all created by experts who really work in these fields. And it's rigorous. I have to say, if you're committed to do this, you really got to put your heart and soul into it because we want to make sure that when people do the program, whether they're high school students or adults looking to enter or change their career field, that they really know their stuff. And when they land that job, they're going to be successful in it. So each of the programs is about 100 hours of study, including some hands-on activities that test for mastery. And you do have to get an 80% or higher on all the required assessments in order to earn the certificate. But the good news is thousands of employers hire the graduates of the program and recognize the certificate for the value that it is. As a matter of fact, some employers even consider it a really preferred hiring credential. And we have an employer consortium of hundreds of big national employers where they post jobs directly into our job board. So when you complete the certificate, if in fact you're ready to enter the job market and you're not headed off to school, the jobs are already there in the job board for you to apply to, and you're already qualified for them.
It looks like some of the other categories that you've included are e-commerce, UX design. You mentioned project management, cybersecurity. Those are all seem like they're high demand categories, but for high schools and colleges, those are courses that are typically difficult to staff and offer. These feel like terrific options. You must have many people that are taking it outside of formal setting as well, so it can be used in either way, right?
Yeah, the great thing about the program is it's entirely flexible. For example, in the Anaheim Public Schools, they've built it directly into the curriculum. Teachers themselves built it into the curriculum. But in some schools, it's either an after school or an extracurricular and optional offering. Some schools are opening it up to parents, which I love. And then all the way up through continuing studies, community colleges, and four-year universities. As a matter of fact, all of the public universities in the state of Pennsylvania and Nebraska, for example, offer the Google Career Certificates to students in those universities, and the University of Texas system offers it for any student as well. So we're really seeing pretty broad adoption. And among community colleges, I think there's at least 11 states where every community college in the state offers the Google Career Certificates.
Lisa, for 10 years, you've been thinking about talent pipeline and the importance of degrees. I think you've tried to move the traditional degree more into the background and get smarter about skills and skills-based hiring. When somebody comes to you with one of these certificates, is that an important signal? Is that something that you would consider in addition to traditional education transcript?
Yeah, absolutely. We love the Google Career Certificates here at Google. We were the first member of the hiring consortium for the certificates. And as a matter of fact, our very first certificate, the IT support certificate, was actually born out of a training program we had here at Google to bring in additional talent that didn't have college degrees. We created a training program for ourselves, which then created pipeline for people to work at IT support in Google. So the people who do all the tech support for people who work here. And it was so successful. That's when we decided to package it up and offer it as a solution to this broader societal opportunity. For sure, we're big believers in the program. And as a matter of fact, there are thousands of Google employees currently taking the Google Career Certificates to either explore something they're interested in or to change jobs within Google, for example.
So you had this program on Rails and you're adding new programs, and then some people in your shop developed these transformers, and then generative AI came out, and it's beginning to transform almost every sector of the economy. What have you been doing with generative AI to help both students and teachers both learn about it and its application in these high tech sectors that we've been talking about?
Yeah, the essence of the Grow with Google program is really making sure that the opportunities created by technology are truly available to everyone. And we believe that educators and students, first and foremost, deserve the tools and the skills that'll set themselves up for success And so we're really excited about the possibility of AI. And we see that excitement actually mirrored among students and teachers. There's clearly a lot of people who are uncertain what AI is about, but the curiosity levels are very high. And if you ask teachers, and if you look at teacher surveys, the majority of teachers say that they know that AI will be a big part of the future of education. They're just not all certain how to learn how to use it or exactly how to make sure their students use it well. So we thought this was a huge opportunity. Look, teachers are among the hardest working people on the planet. They not only spend a ton of time in the classroom and with their students, but they spend a lot of time outside of the classroom thinking about how to create great content and engaging activities and assessments and other things for their students. And those are great places where AI can be helpful. So we thought of AI as almost a teaching assistant. And we really believe that if teachers knew how to use the tool, it could help them for sure save time and be more efficient around some of the administrative tasks that teachers need to do, but also really help them meet students where they are and address students' interests and ability levels in ways that are interesting and useful, both for teachers as well as for students. And I'm happy to give some examples about how we think that works.
You developed a course on generative AI for teachers. Did you do that directly or with MIT?
That's right. Yeah. To bring this to life and really help teachers get some practice and get their heads around all the possibilities that AI can deliver for them and their students, we developed a professional development course for teachers. It's called Google Gen AI for Educators. And it's a roughly 2 hour course. It's broken into modules so that the modules fit within a teacher's planning professional development period. And it's 100% free. It's also online, so it's easy for teachers to access whenever they have time. And it lives right in our Google Teacher Center, which is where a lot of teachers are used to coming to see resources from Google. Or they can find it at the link grow.google/Gen AI for educators. And it's all there for teachers to use, like I said, at their own pace. And teachers can apply to their own districts to get professional development or continuing education credits for having done the course.
That's great. And just like your career certificates, that can be incorporated into school-wide or district-wide PD, or individual teachers can go out and do that on their own. It's a great course, Lisa. I recommended it yesterday at ISTE, and we have included a link to it in a blog we released on AI literacy this week. So we appreciate your leadership there. We think it's a great place for teachers to get started. Lisa, I'm working with a K-8 district not too far from Anaheim, and it makes me wonder about student AI literacy. What should that look like? Where should we start? Do we need to start in middle grades, and how can we help? How can we help students get AI literate? Or our friends in Orange County wish we say AI fluent.
Yeah, thoughts on that. First, I think what helps students the most is when teachers understand these things, both the benefits of using the technology, but also the watchouts. And part of literacy is really understanding where are there issues with AI. Some of the ones lots of folks know about are things like hallucinations and bias. And there's obviously some privacy and other concerns that people need to understand. That's why we built a whole section of our course about AI responsible use. And as you said, we built our course together in partnership with MIT's RAISE. And that's one way that folks can start getting their heads around how to help their students understand what to look out for. But I think even more exciting is this idea of what can the teacher use it for and how is it helpful to them. You know, a lot of teachers have, even if they have one classroom, if you've got, I don't know, 30 kids in that classroom, you might have 3 or 4 different ability levels within this group that you're teaching. And AI is great for helping you customize things like your lesson plans for different levels. You can just ask, for example, Gemini, that's Google's AI tool, to help you customize the lesson plan for different ability levels or translate the lesson plan into additional languages. Or my favorite thing is you could take a science lesson and teach it in a whole fun new way. Teach this science lesson using sports analogies. So AI is great actually at all of these things. It can also help you create worksheets or assessments. And so I think our teachers work so hard, and there's no substitute for the passion, knowledge, and experience of a teacher, but everyone can use a little helping hand. And I think AI is actually terrific for these things. Our course is, of course, product agnostic. They can use any Gen AI tool they'd like. We obviously showcase examples within Gemini, but it's flexible for the teacher to use as they see fit.
Lisa, I watched Professor Ethan Mullick do a live demo yesterday. This is the third time I've seen him do it. I really think he's the most important teacher in America right now. And I just love how he's reimagined teaching entrepreneurship and the way he's inviting his students to use Gen AI to brainstorm ideas and then to deliver on those ideas. For me, it's just really reimagining what project-based learning looks like. How for you is Gen AI reshaping how you're thinking about the nature of work? Then I want to do a follow-up and ask about the pathways that you've developed, but your early thoughts on how Gen AI is sort of reshaping the nature of work and what that means for you.
I think all of us have this opportunity to learn something new. It's like when we first got the internet and we were all realizing what it could do and experimenting with it. And as we've all seen, for the most part, the internet just keeps getting better and better. And so do these tools. So at Google, I feel every day I learn something new about how to be better at prompting, which is also one of the things we teach in our course, and what it can do for me to be more productive. And people share tips really actively here at Google, of course. So there's all kinds of chat groups and stuff where people are always putting in some of the best ways they're using it to save time or come up with new ideas. And so to make sure that everyone, regardless of whether you're a teacher or in another profession or another industry, could learn these things, we actually made another course called Google AI Essentials. It's a slightly longer course than the teacher course. It takes people somewhere between 5 and 10 hours, depending on how they pace through the content, because it has good hands-on practice. And that one is available on Coursera. Then that one is great for anyone in all different professions to really, again, put your hands on the tool and start seeing what it can do. So we show everything from how a small business owner could be using it to create a business plan or marketing plan, a new product concept, all the way down to how anyone could use it at work to summarize research, to create new writing assets. And we know that job seekers are huge beneficiaries of things like Gemini. It can help you draft a cover letter. It can help you come up with power words for your resume. It can help you practice interviewing and think of interview questions you can ask or that you may be asked if you just upload the job description of the specific job you're looking at. So every day we discover new use cases, and the AI Essentials course is really handy for anyone, regardless of their profession or their industry, to really start to get their hands around how to use a.
How has that begun to impact your career certificates? Because AI is really changing each of those pathways. So have you had to go back and make some additions and edits to the career pathways just because they're also changing quickly?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we actually just ran a special promotion where anyone who's doing our Google Career Certificate program can also do the AI Essentials course for free as part of doing their certificate. And I think that's a great way for people to start to get the fundamentals. We're certainly all early kind of on this journey, and we wanted to make it easy and available for people to access the best in class basic course along with the career specific course they were working on.
I wonder if you have a view into learning and development at Google and how it has it changed the way you and your colleagues think about learning and development as professionals? Has it changed the way Google has supported the professional growth of Googlers?
I mean, I think everyone at Google is working to really practice using all these tools for sure. It's part of everyday life now.
Yeah, the new challenge for school and system leaders is how to create that same culture of inviting teachers to learn with, as Professor Mollick would say, this co-intelligence, inviting the co-intelligence into the daily work that you do and to have fun with it. And with the beauty of Gen AI is that you can have a natural language relationship with this new coworker. So it is an exciting learning curve for us all.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the past, if you wanted to get a computer to do something for you, in a lot of ways, you had to know its language, right? You had to know how to code to make it do things. And that's actually what I used to tell my daughters is they had to learn how to code because they needed to be able to make machines do things they needed it to do. Well, AI means that the computer now speaks our language because the AI uses natural language. So you can speak to it the way you would ask an assistant, for example, to help you solve something or do something, and it just does it essentially for you, or at least a first draft that you can then work with to improve. So I think one of the most exciting things about this technology is that it is a democratizing technology. This is not a technology for the experts. It's a technology for everyone. And that's what's revolutionary about it, right? The computer now speaks our language that we speak as humans, and we can all use it to be more efficient, potentially to improve our productivity, but also even enhance our creativity. And we use it a lot here for idea generation. And I think teachers are doing that a lot too.
We are excited to see that. And as you said, most teachers are excited about and have had at least initial experiences in using Gen AI to support great teaching and learning. What's next for Grow with Google? Anything on your product roadmap? Any new pathways or features that you can share with us, Lisa?
These announcements are still really fresh. People are excited and just getting going on them. We're seeing incredible momentum among school systems. I'm really excited to see the number of school systems who've already raised their hands on Gen AI for educators, the Miami-Dade County schools, the Anaheim Public Schools, the Albuquerque Public Schools, and even the Secretary of Education for the state of Oklahoma, who's super excited about the transformational ability of AI in education, is recommending it in the state of Oklahoma. And lots of Oklahoma based school districts are either adopting or considering adopting doing it. And we're just seeing more and more interest every day. So our focus right now is really helping get into the hands of people these offerings we already have. But don't worry, we're always thinking about additional ways to help people learn and to advance in their careers and their lives.
Lisa, we've been talking about Anaheim and some of the SoCal schools. It's interesting that LAUSD has introduced a chatbot that seems to have two functions. One is connecting parents and teachers, parents and schools. I think that's a productive relationship of giving parents better access to better information about their kids and their schools. And then the second function seems to be unlocking extended learning opportunities that are well suited for a particular student. It's a unique entry point. It started in 100 priority schools in LA, and apparently will go to all USD schools. So every LA USD parent should have access to a Gen AI chatbot, and we hope with better information about engaging with LAUSD. They call their chatbot Ed. We're hoping that Ed is going to be a good new friend for LA parents. Like you, we're excited about all the new applications that we learn about every week. Lisa, we appreciate your commitment to learning and development. Google has been a terrific education partner with apps, with Google Docs, with Google Search. I mentioned YouTube, probably the biggest learning platform in the world. And now with Grow with Google, it's been a terrific partner for schools. And we really appreciate your leadership there. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I hope folks who are listening, if they're interested, will check out the Gen AI for Educators course and also the Career Certificate Program, which can be found on the Grow with Google site, which is just grow.google.com.
We'll include both in our show notes. So we've been talking to Lisa Gevelber. She's the VP at Google and a global head of Grow with Google. A terrific resource. Check it out. Thanks for being with us, Lisa. Till next week, keep learning, keep leading, and keep growing with Google.
Thanks for tuning in to the Getting Smart podcast today. We want this podcast to be actionable, insightful, and a great way to learn about what's next in learning. In order to stay on the cutting edge, we need people in the field to tell us what they're hearing, what they're wanting, and what they're needing to learn more about. Got a topic or a guest in mind? Send your recommendations to me, Mason at gettingsmart.com. And if you like what you're hearing, don't forget to leave a review in Apple Podcasts or subscribe wherever you listen. Feel free to share the podcast on social media using the hashtag GSPodcasts. Thanks so much.